My name is Sam Thevanayagam and I welcome you into my kitchen. For the next several minutes, I would like to use two things I'm extremely passionate about: my vocation as an entrepreneur and my hobby as someone who loves to cook, to share with you my recipe for successful entrepreneurship and stewardship. I would like to start with some good news. One can learn to become a successful entrepreneur. Most successful entrepreneurs are developed by applying themselves. This brings me to my third ingredient, create. Part of the creative process is to eventually create a unique product, service, or both that the customer needs or wants now or sometime in the near future. As an early student of marketing, I realized in order to be successful, I needed to empathize with the customer and their needs. This included not only the customer, but to think through the customer's customer as well. Millions of pizza are delivered to college campuses throughout the US. Millions of dollars have been spent on research on how to keep that pizza hot when it is delivered. The store hours too will be different for a store that is adjacent to a college campus as opposed to one in a suburb. Envisioning what the market requires and starting with one has and making incremental improvements is the pathway to successful entrepreneurship and stewardship. My experience is that properly naming the company or product or service is equally important to create, and thus my fourth ingredient is name. By naming your company successfully, you're staking a flag or a position in the mind of your customers and have to spend limited resources on branding for the customer to remember later. Positioning is very important for a small business as it is for a larger one. So think it through, not only for what it is now, but what it will become. A bad example comes to mind. In a town nearby, a small restaurant opened a few years ago. It was limited to serving breakfast, and so the owners called it the Breakfast Nook. Pretty creative. They served great breakfast. The eatery became very successful. It expanded and offered lunch and dinner, but proved extremely difficult to convince customers that they were open during these meal times. While the locals would know better, a visitor from out of town might not consider this as an option. The restaurant spent precious time and money advertising that they were open for these meals, a constraint that could have been avoided by picking a better name. The naming process is important, and I encourage you to think it through and test it with others, especially potential customers, family members who are willing to give you good feedback. Naming your product or service also provides it with some foundation for shaping.